I can't believe Ava had that dress on the other day.
I know. Look at these, Char. Look at your mother.
You had that on the other day.
Oh my gosh, you're so small.
I'm also 23.
Yeah, right?
Carl and Laura Lentz's love story began 2 decades ago in Australia, in their early 20s.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's cute, right?
It was a fun wedding.
He claims that the first time he saw you, he called his mama and said he was going to marry you.
Mm-hmm.
When did you know he might be the one?
It took a bit longer than that. We dated, and then he'd come back from a trip to America, and he just seemed different. And probably 3 weeks in, we said we loved each other.
Carl was in Bible college at Hillsong. Laura, a born and bred Aussie, had grown up in the church. After marrying, they quickly welcomed 3 children and devoted their lives to expanding Hillsong, moving to America.
Describe her in a sentence, if you would.
I would say Laura Lentz is consistent, faithful, and steady.
Describe him.
Strong, visionary, kind, and loyal is what I would say the most. He's very loyal.
Good word, loyal. Tell me about that day when your world changed.
I definitely went straight into shock, but I was like, it was a big shaking for me, because I had no idea.
No idea?
No idea.
None whatsoever.
When he said the words that he said, I just broke down. It felt like just wave after wave, just being hit.
Which emotion was first, strongest?
Confused, and then sad, broken, shattered. Those would be my words.
What was the lowest point for you?
The call with the staff. I had to hear some things that I hadn't heard or didn't know, and that was probably like, what the, like I just couldn't take anymore, you know? And that's the thing with betrayal. The trauma of that is very, very hard to understand unless you're in it and have experienced it. I would look at other people and be like, I would never stay if this happened to me. But it's very different when you're in it.
How close did you come?
One of my betrayal therapists, she asked me, do I have a lawyer? Do you have your own bank accounts? All of that. So I set up all of that. I had to look after myself and my kids.
With most of her family and friends a world away in Australia, Laura felt alone, untethered.
I was angry at God for a really long time. I had dedicated my whole life to other people, to the church, to my family, to my husband, to everything. You know, I felt lost. I had no voice. I didn't know what I felt. My whole life had been like that. Like, I'm easygoing, nothing really bothers me. Whatever you want to do, that's fine. That was how I lived. I didn't know how to say what I needed. And that takes work even today for me.
As for Carl,
there isn't a delicate way to put this. Did you ever think about hurting yourself?
Yes, I did. I did. I just felt like there's no way I'm going to be able to spare my family humiliation. And I definitely had some dark days where I mean, they call it suicidal ideation.
Carl says he went to rehab, addressed his mental health, and for the first time faced a childhood trauma head on. He had been molested as a boy.
The molestation that happened to me when I was a little boy, about 5 or 6 years old, altered my brain chemistry, altered my habits, altered my view of sex. And from that age till as long as I can remember, I had habits of secrecy and hiding and high risk taking that I could never explain.
Carl's revelation gave Laura reason, resolution, not to surrender, but to fight.
Why'd you stay?
I stayed because, thank you. Sorry. I stayed because I loved him. We're on the phone with the therapist, and she was asking him some questions about his childhood and some of that pain. And he started to talk and try to go through what happened. And he got to a point where he just stopped and his whole body started convulsing. He just sobbed. And I realized then that there was so much more brokenness than I had known.
So what I hear you say in part is that in that moment, you thought that maybe I may not be married to a bad man, he may just be a broken man.
Yes, very broken.
The hurt nor the headlines were over. A woman who worked for the family alleging sexual abuse and manipulation by Carl, something he denies.
With all that is within me, I say that that account is wrong, it's not true.
In 2022, the Christian Post obtained an internal review of Hillsong conducted by an outside firm. The review included interviews with staffers who claim Carl abused his power.
There have also been headlines about former members of your staff and volunteers claiming you treated them in such a way that allegedly caused some of them to suffer mental illness and have low self-esteem.
I don't know those people. It's hard for me to speak to those situations. If I were to sit down and talk to these people, and if my actions, if my leadership hurt them in any way, I'd love to apologize for it.
They addressed their departure from the church in the FX documentary, The Secrets of Hillsong. Carl's indiscretions, the tip of a larger iceberg that threatened the controversial church to this day.
You know, church can be a phenomenal blessing in people's lives, or it can be a sledgehammer of pain.
Now far from the spotlight, they're rebuilding and restoring their lives along the Arkansas River. In Tulsa, Oklahoma.
We needed to be in a place where we could all grow and stay on a really consistent, sober, calm, patient pace.
So I would say our marriage has gone through a couple stages, and the one we're in now, we call it our second marriage, because I'm not the same person. She's not the same person.
There's no secrets, there's no anything hidden.
You trust him again?
Yeah.
What do you say to those people who may decide, I'm done with this guy. I can't trust this guy. What say you?
I say that's okay. I think everyone has to do what is right for them. So I don't judge anyone on their own journey and how they feel about him, about us, about our story. I think sometimes you might have to go through some really dark, deep days or seasons or chapters.
Yeah.
And you can either flick that page and start again, or you just shut the book, you know? And I think we chose to flick the page and see what's next.